What puts the fun in function? We find out on this episode of Where You Live. Hello and welcome to another episode of Where You Live. I'm your host, Sarah Wright, and today we're featuring an integral neighborhood here in Whistler, Junction. About 7 kilometers south of Whistler Village sits a booming area that's pretty industrial-like, but there's a lot more than work yards and mechanics down here. So let's find out what exactly is Junction.
Function is a unique neighborhood.
It's an awesome spot. It's very local.
I love how chill it is.
It's pretty neighborhoody.
Junction is awesome.
It's great. It's nice and quaint. It's not too far away. Lots of little boutique places. We come down every day just to come for a craft beer. It's the best.
It's a wicked place for locals to hang out, to work, just to kind of get away from the village.
It's really important for locals and tourists alike. It's a different experience than being in the village.
You can go do your grocery shopping, your home hardware shopping, and your home decor shopping all in one.
I love how it's just one big family, honestly. We all kind of support each other through pretty much everything.
We've got everything down here. Great food, 2 breweries, and anything you can imagine. It's awesome.
Junction, home to 215 business licenses now, hasn't always been this way.
It started off as a logging camp many decades ago. In fact, when I first came to Whistler in 1973, I stayed here for a couple of weeks in the logging camp, Mallock and Moseley logging camp. Then it evolved into an industrial park, and then slowly office uses and some retail, a little bit of restaurant, that all crept in. Some people live here full-time, so it's really an eclectic neighborhood.
With more and more businesses opening up in this growing area, the resort municipality of Whistler is embracing the evolution of Junction.
We have some plans. We have to do a master plan for Junction in conjunction with planning for Nestor's Crossing and Mons, because all 3 areas have an industrial component to them. And then we have to do things like put in some sidewalks, put in some street lighting. So we do have some goals and some plans for the neighborhood.
Many people think to have fun, you either have to be up on the mountain or in Whistler Village, but our first stop in Junction proves that theory wrong. So we're here inside Forged Axe Throwing with one of the owners, James Anderson. James, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for coming out and checking out Forged.
So, axe throwing, where on earth did that come from? Why did you open one here in Whistler?
Well, like many good ideas, we came by it honestly. We were on a friend's bachelor party rafting down the Chilco River.
Sounds about right.
Right? So we were down there for 5 days. We were feeling pretty inspired. We had all kinds of party games with us. But the thing that was most fun for everyone was the axe that we set up with a round a little bit downriver. And we got really competitive with it. All the guys were doing it. So when we got home, we set up a little target in our backyard. It became a thing. And when we were looking for our next project, something to do in Whistler, we thought, everyone loves axe throwing. We got to introduce this to the local community.
And how long from idea being born to you're open, good to go?
Sure, it took a little bit longer than we originally thought, but probably about a year from the idea inception to getting started. Once we found a place to host it, which was our most important part, getting in between 2 breweries was sort of key for our whole business. So we wanted to make sure we were in a good spot. So once we found the spot, we signed the lease. We put up 2 camping cots in here, and we stayed in here for 2 months and built the whole thing by hand, mostly out of reclaimed stuff. So 2 months from the time that we actually got the lease.
Awesome. So you opened March 31st. How has the first month been?
It's been amazing. We've been super excited. The local community has really been on board with what we're doing here. It's something different for people to do in Whistler. Our league nights is a different activity for locals to do. So our league goes for 2 months, so you got to be here for a little while longer. And we've had bookouts for parties, bachelor parties, bachelorettes, birthday parties, staff parties, the gamut. We've been really, really excited with how things have gone.
Amazing. So you offer league, you offer drop-in, and you offer events. You got it almost all covered. Why do you think people in Whistler are open to this?
Well, for the locals, I think it's something different. So if you're looking for something to do at night, you're looking to compete with your friends, it's like darts, but turning it up to 11, right?
Yeah,
like
it
we're
is.
doing something a little bit different. It's so satisfying when you sink your first axe. It gets addictive. You want to get back and do it some more. And for the visitors to Whistler, they're looking to do something that's, uniquely Canadian. This offers them something they're never going to find anywhere else in Whistler. So we are super excited to show both the visitors and the locals what we got.
I got to touch on like logistics. How did you kind of get the licensing for this? I mean, sharp instruments getting thrown around a room?
Sure, yeah. It was a little bit of a challenge in some ways, but luckily my partner and I, Brett, we both went to adventure guiding school in Kamloops, and we contacted our risk management professor when we were there, and we said, hey, what would we have to do to make this happen? He helped us drop a really great release liability waiver, which we presented to our insurance company. They were on board with it as long as we were to meet their premiums, which when you're throwing sharp axes around, aren't the lowest. Once we were able to secure that, we talked to the resort municipality. They were on board to have something different as long as all our ducks were in a row, and we were able to open up. So
How do you ensure safety here then?
Sure, so when people first come in, we do a bit of a waiver talk. We go through the waivers, the risks that are involved, and then before anyone touches or throws an axe, we do a large safety demonstration here, which takes between 10 and 15 minutes. So myself or Chrissy or one of our other staff here will sort of go through everything that's involved with axe throwing, how to hold an axe, how to throw an axe, how to pull an axe out of the target to make sure everyone's doing things safe. And when the parties are going on, we've got lane monitors here, making sure that everyone's abiding by all the rules.
Okay, so we don't have 10 to 15 minutes for a demonstration, but I think it is time for you to give me a demonstration on how this goes down.
All right,
Sound
finally.
good?
I can't wait.
All right.
All right, Sarah, so the most important thing when you're throwing axes is you want to control the axe when you're not actually throwing. So if you grab it right by the head just like this, you can keep it by your side or something similar. That's perfect. You
I'm
don't
gonna
want to
grab
be
one.
waving the axe around. All right, so you got it. So you're holding it nice by the head. That's
Yep.
perfect. So when we're throwing axes, we want to lead with the same foot that we're holding the axe with. So I'm holding with my right, so we're going to lead with my right foot, and then I'm going to step forward with my left. I'm going to grip the axe with two hands, which will keep my shoulders square to the target. Bring it above my head, straight above my head. I'll step forward and release right there, and it's gonna bullseye every single time, Sarah. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. No, you got this. All right, so this is what it'll look like right here. Okay. All right, Sarah, so when you're grabbing your axe out, you don't want to pull it right from the top here. Just grab the bottom right here, and you can just wiggle it out. No need to put your foot up and pull as hard as you can or anything crazy like that.
So if there's other people shooting, how do you?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're throwing, you want to make sure you're throwing with the person next to you, and you're throwing at the same time, so that I'm not throwing when Sarah's down there, and vice versa. It would be really bad luck if you were to come here and throw at the same time as someone else, right?
Yeah, no, that would not work out so well. So I guess I'll give it a go.
All right, last thing you got to know is before we get started, give each other a clink of the axes, and that's how we start a competition.
Oh, shoot.
All right, it's good
competition. Oh boy. So right hand.
You got it.
I don't know if I'm wearing the right lumberjack material.
It's like a contemporary lumberjack. I think it's good.
Yeah, right. Okay, here we go.
That was awesome! Oh my God, first throw, bullseye?
Thank you.
You should come here and host a party sometime. You'd
totally
win for sure.
I should have my birthday party.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
So bullseye for me, that's pretty good. I think I had a pretty good teacher
I
there.
can't believe it. You're a natural, obviously. You're a natural.
You helped me out so well. How do people get a hold of you or social media you guys on?
Yeah, totally. We're on Instagram, forge.axe.throwing, or on Facebook, forge.axe-throwing, or you can find us online, www.forgeaxe.ca.
Awesome. So how do we say goodbye in axes?
All right, just like this. You ready? Clinking axes. I want a rematch.
I'll take you up on that.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Thanks for coming by.
Welcome back to our Function Junction episode of Where You Live. Our next stop ticks off a lot of boxes. It's fun, it's functional, and it's super popular, especially during spring cleaning season. So we're inside the Reuse It Center with the Executive Director of Whistler Community Services, Cheryl Scribe. How are you doing today?
Great, thanks.
Good, good. So briefly, what exactly is the Reuse It Center for, say, someone that isn't from Whistler, doesn't know what it is?
I would say the Reuse It Center is this sort of magic place where community and generosity and fun all come together. And it's really about people having the opportunity to donate goods to us here, keep stuff out of the landfill, and the opportunity also for people to get inexpensive things.
And how long has it been here?
Since 2000.
2000, 17 years. Wow. It's definitely become a staple down here in Function Junction.
It definitely is.
And where do all the profits go for from the donations?
100% of the profits go to fund our programs through Whistler Community Services. So that includes the food bank, kids sport, camp fund. We've got our outreach program. We've got counseling assistance. Lots of great protective layers and strengthening building for our community.
Awesome. And what kind of stuff do you accept here? Or I guess it's easier to say like what you don't accept.
Well, just think about when you're thinking about donating, just think about what you would like to buy.
Right.
And that sort of sets the parameter for the beginning of what is acceptable and what maybe is not as acceptable. Whatever we can't sell, we have to organize to figure out how to manage that out of the store. So if we have to throw it away and bring it to the landfill, that means that we're generally charged for that. So we're quite selective about what we bring into the space. So I would say for the most part, anything safety related, so anything with regards to babies, cribs, life jackets, safety equipment for avalanche, that type of thing we can't take.
You can't take, cool. And what kind of challenges arise besides that with some of the donations that you get?
Challenges?
Yeah.
Well, challenges are more about people's desire to really want to tell you their story. And so when they bring their donation in, they're quite attached to it.
Yeah.
And they want to tell you sort of how it's made their life better and how they feel that it's going to make someone else's life better. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
When we've got that wave of donations coming in, we have to be quite discerning, and we can't always fall in love with your stuff the way someone has fallen in love with their stuff.
Yeah, you guys do get a lot of stuff. We could see it in the back there.
Yeah.
So where else besides Whistler does the stuff go to?
Well, for an example, last year we received 46,000 bags of donations at the Reuse It Center.
Wow.
It's a lot. And we have quite a discerning client here, and not everything sells. And so we try to manage that and keep it out of the landfill as much as we can. So anything we can't sell at the store, we have a charity down in the city that we donate that stuff to. And generally, they will take items that we can't sell here.
Like say if they're a bit ripped or something, they'll take them?
If some buttons are missing, or maybe there's a zipper that's not quite working, that sort of thing. Something that's a little bit faded or older, it's an item that people from here just won't purchase.
So what's it like for the staff here working? It's always changing every day, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a super fun place to work. So before I moved up to the office, I was here for two years, and it's fun. It's not boring. Things are changing all the time. People are super stoked about their treasures that they get here. But sometimes it can be quite overwhelming. Like this time of year when we have that mass exodus from Whistler, everyone's coming and dropping things off. Spring cleaning.
So, yeah. Winter's over.
Exactly. So it's the good and the bad. It's great because we're getting so many great donations. So it's a perfect time to shop here. But it's a bit overwhelming because it feels like you're just getting buried. And I liken it to salmon swimming up river. As soon as you stop, you're going backwards pretty quick.
Right. And what kind of cool things have you gotten? Anything that sticks out to you? Any weird things?
We had an urn donated to us one time, and that was a bit interesting because the person who found it in the pile wasn't quite sure what to do with it. Now we're sort of thinking that wasn't a human, it was an animal, just because of the name that was printed on the side of it.
Yeah.
So things like that we're never quite sure what to do with. And then the other thing that sort of we always find quite interesting is family photos.
Oh, okay.
So people donate family photos of memories. And we're not quite sure if they're hoping that someone else is going to want to enjoy that memory, or it's an oversight, or they're not really sure what to do with it, or they really just don't want to throw it away.
I heard about, which is relevant to us, there was an old camera or old film camera donated a few years ago.
We get some very cool art
Yeah.
and antiques and high-end items.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable how generous this community is. We had a camera, a really cool camera donated. We had an original art piece, original oil painting, and that was auctioned. We ended up auctioning off with the art. We worked with the arts community on that in Whistler, and so our focus is ensuring that as much as possible to get these cool items on the floor as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But we also want to make sure that we're not discounting the price too much. So we want to investigate a little bit and make sure that we're providing as much money as we can to the charity,
Yeah.
but also giving that real win to the community.
And giving the piece justice that you're selling.
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome. So besides coming down here, like people do all the time,
Yeah.
how can people reach you? Are you on social media?
We're on social media. So Facebook, we are Whistler Community Services and the Reuse It Center both have Facebook pages.
Perfect.
The Instagram has Whistler Community Services Reuse It Center, and Twitter has Reuse It Center.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah.
We're actually going to go down.
Shopping?
We're going to go shopping,
Yeah.
yes. I will also be bringing some bags of stuff for my spring cleaning.
Yeah.
But we're going to go to the sister company, the Rebuild It Center, just down the street. Let's go check it out. So you can only fit so much into one building. So now we're at the Rebuild It Center with manager Lori Pine. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well.
Awesome.
And what exactly is the Rebuild It Center if you were telling someone that had never heard of it?
So the Rebuild It Center is a social enterprise dedicated to keeping furniture, appliances out of the landfill, and we try and get it inexpensively to the people that need it the most.
So what all is accepted here or what isn't accepted?
Sure. So we accept anything that you deem has value in it, and value is different for different people, but we try and stick to things that don't have rips, stains, or tears. So we try and take as much stuff as we can.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how can people donate?
So you can bring it to the store yourself anytime between 10 and 5 every day. Or we also have a truck that has curbside pickup, and that's done on the weekends on Saturday and Sunday when I got enough workers to help us move it all.
Awesome. And so you sell it here. Where does the profit go to?
Sure. So it all stays in Whistler, which is so fantastic, what I love most about it. And it goes to Whistler Community Services, which sponsors different programs around Whistler. So there's the food bank, outreach programs, helping hands in the schools, Welcome Week in Whistler. It all gets right back into our community.
All right. So we were talking some pretty crazy and impressive numbers for last year.
Yeah.
Let's hear them.
So we kept 250,000 kilograms out of the landfill last year.
That is a lot.
It's awesome.
That is a proud number.
And we did 13,000 transactions in here.
Holy.
So 13,000 people left with something they didn't have before.
Didn't have before. So unique things maybe.
Yep.
What are some of the weird things that you've gotten here?
We got all kinds of things. Today we got a sham wow, which is really exciting. We've got
You guys should
grandfather.
keep that for
I know.
yourself.
We've had grandfather clocks. We've got a kayak in here right now. Pianos. All kinds of crazy things.
And we were talking earlier about a wish list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What does that entail?
So thank you for asking about that. So that's for really unique things that definitely come and go in here, but so we don't do it for things like mattresses and dressers because we get all kinds of those. But unique things like you know, you need a window that's a certain dimension, we'll take your name down for it. You need a bar fridge, we'll take your name down for it, and we'll call you. But it could be anywhere from a day to 3 weeks to 3 months, so you have to be patient. We get everything in here and it will come in, you just have to be patient.
Awesome. So how about the staff here? How many people work here and what's it like to work at the Rebuild It Center?
It's like having a garage sale every day. There's 6 of us that work here and 4 of us full-time, 2 part-time.
Awesome.
Yep.
Let's talk about the future. Any future plans for Rebuild It?
Yeah, Rebuild It's going to be moving locations within the next year, as are our social services building and the Reuse It Center. And when we move, we've secured a grant to start a tool library, which is going to be a lending library. So you get a yearly membership. And then you just borrow the tools, so you don't have to rent them. So it's going to be like a library, but for tools.
That's super handy for people that are coming into town, transient people and stuff like that.
Yeah, just so you can do, you know, the typical Aussie doesn't show up with a hand drill and they want to hang a picture on the wall or something, and you can just borrow it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, it sounds like exciting things are on the horizon.
Thanks.
And you've done some great things for the past year, too.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining me today, Lori.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Things are about to get bouncy here on Where You Live. I told you things were gonna get bouncy. We're here inside Whistler Bounce Acrobatic Academy. I'm here with Nova Milford. Thanks so much for joining me. How are you doing today?
No problem, I'm doing great.
Awesome. So, Bounce, how did it all start? What exactly is it? And how long have you been here?
So it's mostly a recreational trampoline facility. Lots of kids and families come down here to bounce around, have fun. We do have lots of professional athletes that like to spend their time here, honing their skills with a little bit less of a rule set. We've been down in Function here for 6 years. It's just two childhood friends started the business together and took off from there.
Nice. Why do you think Whistler is such a good place for, or even Function, such a good place for something like this?
Well, we do have a very fluctuating population, so there's always new people through here. So we get the seasonal population through here every year. We have lots of families that need something to do. The toddler schedules don't change, whether there's snow or rain. So it's always a bunch of people to come down.
So would you say your clientele is mostly local based, or do you get the tourists coming through?
It's mostly local families. On a regular day, on a day like today, you'll see probably 75% people that you see all the time. You know them by name, greet them when they come in, and then we have the tourists that come through just for the day on the way out or the way in. Happens quite frequently.
And how does it work? Is it just like a free-for-all, come here and jump, or is there like set kind of things? How does it work?
Not quite. It is hard with trampolines to enforce the safety, because once people are on there, they tend to kind of forget the rules that you've told them. You come in, we give you our set of rules, which is basically compiled from different things we've hurt ourselves doing and try to make other people not hurt themselves doing those things. People are generally pretty good about not wanting to injure themselves.
Well, you seem like you love it. What is it like working here?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I started working here when I was 15, and it's just been a really good job for me. I started part-time, and then when I graduated, I transitioned to full-time, and it's always just been really enjoyable atmosphere. We have very few staff, so everybody's really close.
And what do you offer to the public? Can you have events, host events, or what kind of is available for people?
We do events here. We also, for the community, we donate certificates and bookings to charity events and your events as well. Yes, we do private bookings and birthday parties for kids and stuff like that as well.
Awesome. Well, I think I should probably go down and check it out. Thanks for joining me today.
No problem at all.
Just before I let you go, social media, do you guys have?
Yes, we do have our website, whistlerbounce.com, and we do have our Facebook, which is a bit less active than we would like it to be, but it is Whistler Bounce on Facebook as well.
You're too busy jumping.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to stay away.
Well, let's go downstairs.
Sounds good.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you, Benji?
Good, thanks.
Good. So we are with Benji here at Bounce, the owner here. Trampolining.
One of the owners.
One of the owners, of course. What is it about trampolining that made you open up a place?
Well, it was basically, first it was the recognition that there wasn't a lot to do in Whistler. I mean, that was for, under the age of 19 anyways. So,
and that's not outside.
Yeah, basically doing death-defying things all year round is a definite bonus to have in a small community.
Perfect. Let's talk about the facilities. What kind of trampolines do you have?
Well, we have 2 Olympic tramps, 1 super tramp from Dave Ross. Got a couple training tramps, which are limited risk. You can basically land any way you want on these with, less danger, say. We got a trampoline angle. We've got the ball pit upstairs. Yeah,
this one, super trampoline.
Yeah, this super tramp here is the main focus. This is the one that gets the athletes to the next level, more or less.
And it seems like it launches you pretty big. How do you keep people safe here?
Well, first we have to kind of figure out where people's skill level is before we go letting them try to do double, triple, quadruple flips. So most of the people that come in here are pros, are basically trying to be professional. So we basically gauge their skill level and then let them proceed from there. We've got a nice throw mat here that's like a Sealy Posturepedic king-size bed, and that saves the day more often than not.
And so we were talking about safety, but what about like health benefits that you get from trampolining?
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, first off, they're putting every astronaut on a trampoline to go to outer space nowadays. So NASA is, I think, using 3 hours a day for their astronauts.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as your core, it's the most important thing in anything you're going to do is your core muscles. So this works all of that. Trade your kegging for a six-pack immediately, basically, after one session here at Bounce. But we were pretty impressed to find out that this was good for all ages. So when we have kids that are 3, 4, 5 years old, and then we've got professional athletes, Canada Snowboard, all the pro skiers, pretty much everybody from around the planet, you name it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you see in the near future for Bounce? Anything changing? Anything new?
We'd like to do an indoor feature, maybe for a snowboard with an airbag, something like that. Yeah, maybe something outside, something mobile perhaps.
Well, it definitely seems like a super fun place with lots going on. I've heard that you are, and you already showed us a little bit of your skill, but you're pretty good on the trampoline. So I'm going to wrap up
I
this.
wouldn't go that far.
I don't believe you. And you're going to prove it to me right now because I'm going to have you wrap up this segment with some moves on the trampoline.
All right.
All right, let's get you on there.
All righty, let's go.
So we've really just scratched the surface here today in Function Junction. There's so much going on. There's cafes, breweries, galleries, you name it. Who knows what else will move into the neighborhood? And who knows where we will go next on the show, so make sure you tune in. Thank you so much for all our guests for being on the show today, and thank you for watching. For Shaw TV, I'm Sarah Wright. I hope you enjoyed this very functional episode of Where You Live.